The next panel is powered by Online Marketing Community from Romania, and Alin Vlad, the moderator of this panel, is already here on stage with me. So Alin, please tell us a few words about you and about your guests.
Hey guys, my name is Alin Vlad. I'm leading the online marketing and sales department for Heimdal Security, a small Danish company, and also running the online marketing community with some very interesting meetups, free meetups at Tech Hub. I will be co-joined on the stage by Anabela from AdLemonade. I had the chance to work in the same space, in the same office with her team, and they know their stuff. Please. The second speaker will be Valentin from Marketizator. I know Valentin for 2 years now, I guess, and the first time I met him, he pitched me his product, and I must say that I use his product now, so he had success with that. So, yeah, he did.
After 2 years of persuasion.
Yeah, exactly. Long funnel. And the third speaker is Sujan Patel, a guy that I know for half a year now. We chatted a little bit. He doesn't know that, but he had a big impact at the beginning when I moved from social media to a full stack marketing role, and his ebooks, especially the growth hacking one, had a huge impact on my work at Heimdal Security. If you want to say more about you.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here and be sharing the stage with such great guys. And we are actually here to deliver our knowledge and go home with some tips and tricks that are really useful for your businesses.
Hello, I'm a happy person, so please get this virus from me, and please do ask things, because we are here to share our knowledge, or our, not knowledge, but the shortcuts that we've found along the road.
Hey everyone, I'm really excited again to be here. Yeah, as these two said, just to share our knowledge, our learnings and failures, so that hopefully we don't repeat them, or repeat them and learn on your own. Either way.
Keep the mic. So the topic of our discussion is conversion rate optimization, and I know there are lots of ways people define this topic. So I want your way. How do you see conversion rate optimization? What does it mean to you?
Yes, that's a privilege, right? Well, I could come up with a very complex definition, but to put it in simple words, I think that conversion rate optimization is trying to find out why people are not converting on your website and doing things to get them converting, right? We at AdLemonade, we do PPC advertising, pay-per-click advertising, right? So we focus mostly on driving quality traffic to the website, right? And afterwards, it's Valentin's job to convert people in the website, right? And I'm passing the mic to you.
For me, conversion rate optimization, it's exactly what you're doing live. So it's not about transforming visitors into leads or into sales. It's about getting people to understand what you're doing and how can you fulfill their dreams, their needs, their desires. So it's like in real life. When I was a little kid, I tried to convert my father to let me out to play some more. When I got older, then I wanted to persuade girls to get out with me and to buy some ice cream, and so on and so forth. So conversion rate optimization, I think, is the greatest part of the marketing, because you actually build relationships and then you nurture relationships, and you have these kind of magic tools, and you need a deep understanding of psychology, of design, or anything. So I think it's the most interesting part of the marketing.
Yeah, so I think of conversion rate optimization as two things. One is simply just reducing friction to a purchase or a lead or a conversion. The second thing is it's a lot of psychology, perception, a lot of the little things. It's also the traffic quality, how they came in, what they're thinking, and things like that. So it's very, very interesting because you're tackling really fundamental issues people have that they don't even know they have most of the time themselves.
Thanks. This How to Web is an event mostly dedicated to startups, and and the marketing role for a startup is to get traction as much as possible. What is the role of conversion rate optimization in that process? Because most of the startups are focused on traffic in the beginning, at least. How how much should be the percentage of your focus on traffic, getting traffic, on optimizing the funnels and so on?
I'll go first, I guess. I think for startups, it's really about figuring out messaging and product market fit. So there's a difference between CRO for pre-product market fit and post, in my opinion. And pre, you're trying to figure out your messaging, what's relating to the customer to become a trial, to convert, to purchase, whatnot. But it's a lot different. A lot of this is trying to figure out how you can say to solve the customer's problems, or how you can kind of display this, or even what the customer's problems potentially are. Post, it's figuring out what channels, essentially, and what language and what flow can help properly scale traffic, or can help you drive scalable traffic.
So I'm part of a startup, so we of course we did the conversion rate optimization for our own selves, and I must say that I totally agree with Sujan that you need to know what is actually a conversion. So when you don't have anyone on your website, how come you can convert someone? So first you need traffic, and then you need to convert it. But at each step in the history of a startup, you have different aims, and conversion means other things. In my opinion, in the first part, a conversion for me was an influencer which was actually giving a sincere review about what I am going to do. And then a conversion was an influence that actually started to use the product that I've made. And things are getting better and better. So conversion rate optimization is not just after you have an established website and you start to convert people into selling them. And my suggestion for the startups are to do outreach in the first part of their history as a startup, and then after they start to get feedback and links and whatever and traffic, they should definitely try some channels in order to actually have someone to convert.
Okay, conversion rate optimization from a PPC perspective means driving quality traffic, and as an early stage startup, I would focus more on getting the product known and setting up conversions in getting feedback from as many users as possible. Using different tools like Marketizator here, or Crazy Egg or Clicktail, in order to see the quality of your traffic, right? And talking specifically about pay-per-click campaigns, it's all about targeting, right? To understand deeply what your client's profile is. Then creating a good, compelling ad copy that would be interesting for those users, and then leading them to relevant landing pages.
Okay. Since Sujan talked about fails and mistakes, from your experience, what are the most common mistakes businesses, or mostly startups, do when starting to do conversion rate optimization?
Yeah, so I think the most important thing is that they are not starting. I mean, they are not properly starting. Yeah. So in order to to get something, you need to properly start. You need to read things. You need to go there and to have a deeper knowledge about things and to start things. You know, I've a few months ago I've put a golden fish on the website on Exit Intent, and I've put a pop-up like with a small golden fish that said something like, "Hey, I'm gonna lose my job here. Subscribe, get a new account." And then another pop-up with me like a CEO saying, "Hey, blah blah blah," and surprise, surprise, the golden fish won. You know, so you just need to do things and to test things. So I think that's one thing, and the other thing, which is besides the lack of knowledge, is not realizing that you're not good at this. You know, hire someone. I mean, you need a professional to do this if you're not that good, if you don't have any results, you know. So I think these are the most two important. I would say about tools and other things, but even though I'm building a tool and I'm in love with our tool, I must say to you that tool is 20% of the success of a conversion rate optimization process, and the people behind and the ideas and the persuasive approach is the other part.
Yeah, I also think it's solving the right problems. For startups specifically, they might be just in the wrong mindset trying to tackle can I make Facebook ads work? Can I make PPC work? When really maybe their business is at, can I convert people to pay me money? I love testing with paid search because you can test really quickly. I always, even when I have an idea for a startup, I'll actually build out a landing page and essentially just buy Facebook ads to who I believe is the targeted audience or customer, and pretend like I have a product and let them convert and see what the economics of that whole process is, because that gives me education, and then I'll build a product if it works out. But try doing that, you know, go back to the beginning, and then like you said, I think it's get an expert, please. You try it, read it. Reading stuff is going to help you, but doing it 10 times over, 100 times over is really where you start to get successful. You can hack, in my opinion, 50-60% of CRO just by reading and copying the things you've read, but then after that your luck kind of runs out, and you really need to do it in a methodological way where you have a process, and frankly a professional is the best person to help you with that.
Well, copying things is definitely a way to do it, but it's what worked for someone else might not work for you, right? So you need to see, to test, and you need to have a budget to test that. And paid advertising is actually the fastest way. I know it's sometimes can be the more expensive way, but it's the fastest way to really get feedback. If your product is okay, if it's searched on the internet, if it's needed out there, and you definitely need to test a lot of stuff, starting from Facebook ads versus Google, I don't know, or testing different ad copies to see what appeals to your audience, and definitely leading traffic is the first step, but what happens on your website is very important. I think that a lot of startups are very focused on details, you know, like every comma on their website, but they're not focused on setting up goals and really following specific metrics in this process.
Thanks. You talked about testing. How do a marketing specialist finds out what to test first, and how long should be a test running?
This is a very important thing, because it's like in life. If you go out for every rabbit that you want to get, you're not going to get any of those. So you need to have this process. Like, if I want to be, I don't know, I want to play the piano, and this is the most important dream that I get, I'm going to follow that, and I need to play the piano. That's in the conversion rate optimization. I mean, with this analogy, you can understand that you should always go for the idea which has the most potential. But in order to find it, you have two things: the qualitative analysis and the quantitative analysis. So you need to do a deep diving into Google Analytics and to find out where is the bottleneck, you know, and to see, let's say you have a startup and you have this landing page, and then from the landing page you want to capture the leads. But where is the most important problem? On the fact that you have 80% bounce rate, or on the fact that you have only 5% conversion rate? So you need to see the funnel and then to see where to fix the things. And after that, you come up with ideas, what to change and where to change. A radical design will definitely allow you to see what's happening on the landing page or what's happening below on the bottom of the funnel. So I think in order to prioritize, you need this kind of analysis. And besides quantitative analysis with Google Analytics, you need to ask your people surveys, because I had like I don't know, a big insight when I did the first survey with our tool on our website, and realizing that actually from 100% of our traffic, 40% didn't knew what conversion rate optimization was. So mainly when you have this insight, then you understand that you need first to teach your audience that they have a problem. You know, you need to act like a doctor and to say, you know what, you have this disease and I will give you this medicine. Not I have this medicine for you. First find out the needs, yeah, find out the pain points, and then you can treat them.
Yeah, I think I completely agree. Surveying, getting qualitative data from your through surveys, even talking to your customers or potential customers, really helps you. I'm solving this problem at ContentMarketer.io. We get 400 trials a month, and a lot of them don't convert, and we've tried to figure out why they don't convert. And we found out that, one, it's a different audience than we thought. Our customer base is different. They're bloggers and not marketers, and that's okay. We just have to adjust, or maybe that's not okay. We have to change something. And talking to our customers, we found out why they use our product, what they love about it. We did this via email, and we got a lot of information. But at the end of the day, it was talking to customers, talking to potential customers. Potential customers didn't know how to use the product, so we found that education was the biggest hurdle. And we also, so there's 3 different avenues I found different information, and it was simply by talking to my audience.
Okay. A lot of stuff was already said by these brilliant guys. I think that from a PPC perspective, where we have most influence, conversion rate optimization comes to driving traffic, to learning every day what works and what doesn't work, and how to make it better each step of the way. What you guys need to pay attention to is not being really focused on, okay, AdWords or Facebook ads is the issue of my low conversion rate. No, it might be your website or the landing pages that you're driving traffic to. And here it's really the dialogue that you have with your clients. You should always know where your clients come from, how they found out about you, and what persuaded them into becoming customers. And then looking at goals, setting specific goals, be it, sign-ups to your newsletter, or actual purchases on the website. Looking back at the funnel, right, and see what needs to be improved. Don't just test for the sake of testing. Yeah, that's done a lot. Just let's test this button, see if it's green, if it converts better instead of red, right? Just try to test with a specific purpose in your mind. And here you have a lot of tools. So you have Google Analytics that has experiments where you can A/B test different landing pages. In fact, you have AdWords experiments where you can test with keywords, with bids, with different creatives, right? So you have all the tools that are out there. Most of them are free, and you just need to invest time and get a chat with a specialist. You don't actually need to work with them, just to ask for a quote, that's the cheapest way, and to get them engaged on board and giving you some ideas.
Thank you. Uh, let's say that you're a startup and you're convinced that you need to hire someone for this position. All of you guys hired conversion rate optimization experts or specialists. What's the best way? What are the core skills CEO slash co-founder slash should look for this position? And also, should they hire a newbie and teach them and allow him to develop himself? Should they hire experienced one but expensive and so on? What's the best way?
Well, I think the most important thing is to find out what you need from this person. Yeah. So which are the goals you want this person to fulfill. And I think a deep understanding about your visitors, a deep understanding about your metrics. I mean, which are actually your metrics, which are the micro conversions. Yeah. So you want conversions and you're pissed off that it's only 2%, but which are the preliminary steps, like seeing the pricing page? That's a micro conversion. Yeah. So the skills in order to find out those things are purely analytical. Yeah. So you need a person which has a deep understanding about numbers and has this set of skills. The problem with a good CRO person, because we are always on the lookout to hire new people to get in our team. Now we are 28 persons and we keep on looking for them. They need to have this analytical background, and they need to, if you want a single person to do this, and they need to be a good psychologist. They need to have business skills to understand actually which are the goals of the business to align with them. They need to be a marketer and also a creative person. So I think it's very, very hard to find this kind of person. So my suggestion is to simply steal from the companies which are actually doing these kind of things and to get their codes, like Anabela said, if you are in a startup position. Because actually it's not that hard to get these materials, to see the process, and at the end I think it's very important to invest in the conversion rate optimization, even if it sounds very expensive, because you actually get more for the same amount of traffic. So the magic with the conversion rate is exactly like with the compound interest. Yeah, you get 3% this month, and it's incremental and it's statistically proven, but actually 3% stays there without you investing more. And next month, let's say you had 4, and then you had 8, and it keeps on going. Yeah, it's like a snowball which gets bigger and bigger. I hope that answers the question.
You tackled like what I was gonna say, but one thing I just want to say that. No, one thing I wanted to just add to that is, as a founder, a startup founder, or business owner, you have a lot of things to tackle. Learning 15 skill sets is probably not the best thing of use of your time. However, the way I like to learn is you hire a professional, typically a consultant or an agency that can help you with CRO, and you learn how they do it, their process, and you try to build that skill in-house, because it is very important to have that skill. And maybe as a founder, that mindset or that skill set can rub off a little bit on you.
Thank you. Well, I think that sometimes cheaper is actually more expensive. And through this I mean hiring juniors, because you pay them low salaries, can be more costly on the long term. And if you need results in the following 6 months, let's say, it's better to work with somebody that's already experienced, be it as an insider or as an agency. You might think of not just of money, but also of losing momentum. Because, for instance, if you have a technology product that's really mainstream and you're going very widely with your product, you might lose that momentum, and in 6 months, when you'll have the budget and the experience and everything, the interest will drop, or maybe the technology will be obsolete.
Got it. Now some inside info from all of you. Give us some examples. What was your most impressive or the most impressive result you got from doing a serious SEO conversion rate optimization test, and what was the biggest fail, and what did you learn from it?
I think you should start. You've been doing such a good job.
Yeah, so my most important it wasn't the best. I mean, it's not like you do a test and afterwards you've doubled your business, even though I thought that in 2010. I think it's let's do conversion rate optimization, we'll double it and then we are cutting our cost by in half. But the most impressive test that I've did was in my previous company, where I'm still a passive shareholder. We were selling car insurance, and it was by doing analytics, we found out that the conversion rate in the other cities rather than Bucharest, which is the capital, was in half. And then I've said why this is happening, and after surveying them, we found out that actually the guys from other cities were using our website like you are reading the newspaper, to find out the codes, and then they are going into their own shops, traditional shops. And we did a web personalization based on the geolocation with our brand new tool. We've put some photos with the main square from Brasov, Constanța, everybody there, so that the people were feeling that this is for them. I mean, it's like a local company from Brasov or from those small cities everywhere. We did it in 10 different cities, and the conversion rate started to grow, but it wasn't like instantaneously. But anyway, at the end, after this process, we've managed to increase our conversion rate in other cities rather than Bucharest with 60%, but it took us a year to do so. That was the most impressive one. And another one, I mean, the biggest failure in the conversion rate optimization on our own website, we've did a test on the homepage, and we've added lots of logos everywhere. This is going to be a blast, yeah. So actually, after we've put those logos, we've realized that actually nothing happened. I mean, we haven't affected it because people weren't actually scrolling down. But after that finding, we've started to put it more, up front. So it went okay.
I'll start with my biggest failure. I like failure because I learned a lot from it. But I think it was at wheniwork.com. We're scheduling software, SaaS, and we had tested so many different landing pages, and I thought I had found like the right mix. And what I did was essentially I found people weren't scrolling down, and this is like a huge rookie mistake. It was so I thought based off Crazy Egg and a lot of the data that people weren't scrolling, and so I thought I can just cut the page right, in the middle, and reducing time for distractions and just getting people to convert right away. And turns out, one, it made no difference in the trial conversion at all, because not a lot of people were scrolling, but it drastically reduced the conversion from trial to paid customer, because the bottom end of our landing page or home page at this time was education and a little bit of social proof. So we removed some of the education, so people went into the application and started a trial at the same exact rate, but knowing less information. And so at the end, the net result was just a loss. Now, why it was a rookie mistake was that we have a lot of customers that come back to the website that log in on the top right. So it wasn't that a lot of people were not scrolling down, is that so many people were scrolling up that the numbers were insignificant when you think about how many people were actually scrolling down. So the heat map was just super flawed. So we had to remove people coming in from certain traffic sources, redid the test on just traffic from a specific AdWords campaign, and found that that data was completely inaccurate that we did on the homepage. Biggest win was that we put happy people. Like I mentioned this earlier in my talk. Don't talk about your features or things like that. Talk about your promise. Use your headline as a promise of whatever you're gonna do. Like if it could be like you're gonna be super happy, or you're gonna find your one true love. Right? Dating sites do a great job at this. Car insurance sites, mortgage sites, they show happy families. So when you get a house, you don't buy a house. Your family's gonna be happy. They're gonna have a home. They're gonna have a roof over their head. The happy family is really psychologically what's selling them. And so we did this just a number of times on like tons of clients I've worked with, and it's always worked when you sell the promise.
We do a lot of A/B testing with ad creatives. That's part of our daily job, and I think that if you get a really good creative, especially for banners, you can double or triple your conversion rate. And I'm gonna give you the example we had this summer for a fashion website. Where we were having issues in selling our stocks in August. Everybody was on vacation. Nobody was buying any kind of dresses or shoes. And even if we had for a whole week, we had 50% off for all our products, still sales were going terribly. And we just changed the creative, and we had Black Week, like the Black Friday concept, but we just put it in August, and the sales went up 10 times. So it was a great success, and this is why I keep insisting on testing with creatives, testing with different messages. Make sure that you have the same message on your landing page as well, because even if you have a huge banner saying Black Friday sales and nobody can find any sale on your website, it's not gonna work, right? And regarding failures, I think it's testing and deciding upon irrelevant data. I think that's a big failure, because it's just kills all your work so far. So have patience, because when you start running a test, you're so excited and you want to see results, and after 2 or 3 days you say okay, it seems this version is getting better, we'll go with this one, right? And another thing that people do it totally wrong is when the CEO comes and says I like green, so we'll have our website green, yeah, and or I like this text and not this one, and they decide upon what they like, what their mother-in-law likes, what their wife thinks about it, not letting users, really give feedback and see it with numbers.
Thank you. Unfortunately, we don't have any more time, but we'll take one question, just one. 0 when the clock is 0. So raise your hand.
Let's see if we will convert them. If converted was wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, for early stage startups, let's say you're a specialist marketeer, co-founder, would you recommend testing everything about conversion rate optimization, like with A/B testing, or what about going with your guts and with your knowledge, previous knowledge, especially when the time is scarce?
It's not always about time. It's about also the quantity of traffic that you can generate in a small amount of time. Of course, guts is good. It helps you, but numbers are better, And definitely you need to target very narrowly, especially that you have very little money to test with. So you need to go very, very focused with your targeting, and then decide on the data that you get from there, and then test something else, so on and so forth.
So my suggestion is if you don't have enough traffic, I mean, if you have below 10, 15,000 visitors, forget about doing A/B testing because it will take you 2 months to find out something. So use the best practices, yeah. Take a look at all the competitors, use similar web to see their bounce rate, see which one has the lowest bounce rate and just go for that kind of wireframe. And also use on-exit intent surveys and web personalization to hook up the visitors when they are trying to get away from your website, and push to them, make sure you grab their emails and give something valuable to them instead of losing them. So I think that's the main thing that you can do in your if you are early stage.
Okay, thank you. And
Mulțumim.
Thank you very much. Thanks for sharing.